In a peaceful neighborhood, Julia faced an unimaginable situation that would leave anyone stunned. A lion, majestic and utterly out of place, had somehow wandered into her apartment. Panic surged as she struggled to comprehend the surreal reality of sharing her living room with the king of the jungle. Yet, as the initial shock began to fade, a startling realization dawned on Julia. The lion's unexpected presence carried a deeper hidden purpose. At first, Julia assumed her house was being broken into when she heard the commotion and movement downstairs. It wouldn't have been the first time someone had tried to rob her, and she was somewhat prepared. Beneath her bed, she kept a convincing fake shotgun for emergencies. Gripping it tightly, she cautiously made her way to the stairs. But as she glanced down, it became clear she wasn't dealing with a burglar. Something had entered her home, and it was anything but human. Her breath caught as her eyes locked onto a massive female lion. Slowly climbing the stairs, Julia froze, paralyzed by shock for a moment that felt like an eternity. Then instinct kicked in. She dropped the fake shotgun and bolted to her bedroom, the only room on that floor with a lockable door. Hearing her sudden movement, the lion began to chase her. Heart pounding, Julia managed to slam the door shut and turn the lock just in time. For several harrowing minutes, she listened as the lion scratched and growled outside. Eventually, the sounds faded, and an uneasy quiet settled over the house. Julia could still hear the lion moving through the rooms below, but for now, it seemed to have lost interest in pursuing her. Now she had time to think, what was a lion doing in my home? This was America, not Africa. There shouldn't just be a lion wandering around here. Gathering her courage, Julia knew exactly what to do next. She called 911. "There's a lion in my house," she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. The operator's voice crackled through the line, thick with skepticism. "A lion, you said? Are you sure it's not just a large dog?" the operator asked. Julia's frustration mounted. "No, it's a lion. A real, huge lion," she exclaimed. But her pleas seemed to fall on deaf ears. The disbelief in the operator's tone was disheartening. Feeling abandoned by the authorities, Julia hung up the phone. A sense of helplessness washing over her, she realized she was utterly alone in this ordeal. Determined to prove the truth, Julia decided she needed undeniable evidence. If words won't convince them, maybe a picture will, she thought. Slowly, she began edging toward a position where she could safely take a photo. Her heart pounded with every stealthy step. Moving like a shadow, Julia crept out of the bathroom, acutely aware of the lion's every breath. Finally, she found herself in a safe position. With trembling hands, Julia raised her phone. The camera focused on the lion, capturing its majestic form as it peacefully slept. With the photo secured, Julia carefully retraced her steps back to the bathroom. Sitting on the floor, she clutched her phone tightly, staring at the undeniable proof displayed on the screen. This will make them believe me. But now, she faced another challenge. She had to get the photo to the authorities. In the brief lull, Julia spotted her chance. Moving with silent urgency, she approached the window. Her fingers worked deftly to unlock it, the sound barely audible. She slid the window open, creating her gateway to escape. Peering outside to ensure the coast was clear, Julia took a deep breath. With one final glance at her surroundings, she hoisted herself through the window and into the night. Julia hit the ground running, clutching her phone as if her life depended on it. The photo of the lion, a silent, undeniable testament to the unimaginable, was her only proof. Breathless, she burst into the police station, her disheveled appearance instantly drawing attention. "I have proof," she gasped, thrusting her phone toward the officer at the front desk. The image of the majestic lion glowing on the screen left the officer stunned. Finally, her story was believed, and relief washed over her as the gravity of the situation became clear. Inside the precinct, officers huddled over maps and blueprints of Julia's apartment, meticulously planning their next steps. Coordinating swiftly with animal control, they prepared tranquilizers and other equipment, each dose calculated to subdue the lion safely. Meanwhile, Julia's once quiet street transformed into a stage for the operation. Word of the lion had spread, and residents cautiously watched from behind their curtains, the tension palpable. When the team leader signaled, the operation began. Officers moved with precision, checking every corner of Julia's home. The quiet was unnerving, every sound amplified in the charged atmosphere. As they closed in on the lion's last known location, the possibility of a face-to-face encounter grew increasingly real. In the dim light of the attic, they finally spotted the lion, nestled inconspicuously in a corner. The tranquilizer expert took the lead, carefully finding the right angle for a clear shot. Steadying his breathing, he aimed. Time seemed to slow as the dart lodged gently in the lion's flank. Once tranquilized, a stretcher was gently slid under the lion. With coordinated effort, it was carefully lifted and transported to the waiting van. With the lion safely removed, the police shifted their focus to unraveling the mystery of its presence in Julia's apartment. Detectives convened, discussing theories and possible leads. The question loomed large. How did a lion end up in a suburban neighborhood? Officers canvassed the area, knocking on doors and interviewing neighbors. Surveillance footage was collected and scored for any unusual activity. As the investigation deepened, evidence began to point to a local illegal animal trade operation. With a clearer picture of the underground network, the police zeroed in on key suspects. Known figures in the illegal wildlife trade were put under surveillance. In a coordinated dawn raid, officers swarmed the hideouts of the animal trade network. Suspects were caught off guard, their expressions betraying a mix of shock and guilt. In a swift and decisive operation, the police confronted those deeply entangled in the illegal trade. The culprits, now in handcuffs, faced the consequences of their actions, their operations exposed under the glaring light of law enforcement. In the interrogation room, the main suspect, a known animal trader, sat defeated under the unyielding gaze of detectives. His facade crumbled as he began to unravel, his words tumbling out in a torrent of confessions. He detailed illicit activities, illegal trades, and deals gone wrong. Among his admissions came a startling revelation: the lion had been stolen. It was part of an illegal deal that had gone awry, leading to its unexpected escape. This revelation added a new layer to the case, redirecting the investigation toward other wildlife crimes. As detectives delved deeper, they began connecting the lion's appearance to a series of other unsolved wildlife incidents. The threads of the investigation began to weave a broader picture of the dark underbelly of the illegal wildlife trade, sparking efforts to dismantle the entire network. The stolen lion was just one part of a complex network of illegal animal trade. Each piece of evidence added to a growing mosaic of criminal activity, with the lion's story intertwining with other unsolved cases. The investigation took a surprising turn when it pointed toward an unexpected individual. This person, seemingly unconnected to the wildlife trade, emerged as a key figure in the unfolding drama. Detectives scrutinized this new lead, piecing together the evidence. The suspect's involvement was a twist in the narrative, adding complexity to an already intricate case. By examining phone records and surveillance footage, detectives found undeniable links connecting him to the crime. When Julia heard the news, she was stunned. The man she once trusted was now at the center of her terrifying ordeal. As detectives delved deeper into her ex-boyfriend's background, a chilling narrative emerged. His intention to use the lion as a tool for revenge against Julia became clear. Motivated by a twisted sense of retribution, he had orchestrated the lion's release. The ex-boyfriend's detailed plan came to light. He had cunningly exploited the chaos of the stolen animal situation, releasing the lion into Julia's apartment. The full extent of his plot unraveled, revealing a narrative of vengeance that had spiraled out of control. His capture marked the culmination of the investigation. Confronted with overwhelming evidence, he showed a flicker of remorse. For Julia, watching from a distance, it was a moment of mixed emotions: relief, disbelief, and a lingering sense of betrayal. The investigation took an even darker turn when it was revealed that her ex-boyfriend was not only the mastermind behind the lion's release, but also the intended buyer. His clandestine dealings with the illegal animal trade were exposed, uncovering a network of illicit transactions. This revelation added a sinister layer to his motivations, showing his willingness to delve into the criminal underworld to exact his revenge. In the aftermath, Julia reflected on the harrowing experience. The danger hadn't come from a stranger, but from someone she had once shared her life with. The courtroom became the final stage of this drama as her ex-boyfriend and the animal trader faced justice. The evidence against them was overwhelming, painting a clear picture of their crimes. The courtroom was hushed as the judge delivered the verdict. Both the ex-boyfriend and the animal trader were found guilty, receiving sentences amidst a palpable sense of justice in the air. For Julia, sitting quietly in the back, the verdict was more than a legal decision. It was a confirmation that the law was on her side. The gavel's final strike echoed her newfound sense of closure. After the ordeal, Julia became more vigilant, enhancing her home security with cameras and alarms, not out of fear, but as practical precautions. While the trauma lingered, she found strength through counseling and the support of friends and family. The incident also united her neighborhood, sparking safety meetings and fostering a stronger sense of community. Standing in her once chaotic living room, Julia felt at peace. The terror was now a memory, and her home had become a sanctuary again, a symbol of her resilience and hope for new beginnings.